Board of Education meeting Thursday, March 8th, 2018. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm asking Afsa Syed from Bridgeway, she's a second grader there, to lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we will now do the roll call. Trustee Sarah Kirby-Gonzalez. Here. Trustee Jackie Wong. Here. And Trustee Kobe Pizzati was here, but he is excused. He's not feeling well. We hope he will feel better. And Alicia Cruz also is not with us. We're hoping she's feeling better. Thank you. So now we will move on to announcement of action taken in closed session. E1, Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiators, information received. E2, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal, Release, Information Received. E3, Government Code Section 54956.9D, Section 2, pending a potential, oh, I'm sorry, this was not discussed. Thank you. And also Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Superintendent was not discussed. Very good. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
President Alcala?
Yes.
We request that item N5 be tabled. CSEA has requested additional time to complete their ratification process.
Very good. So noted.
Okay.
Okay.
President Alcala, can I also table, let's see, R2, the discussion for Board Governance Handbook for when we have a full board?
Very good. Thank you. So noted. All right. So can we move forward now with those exceptions, will we move now to have the agenda approved?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we move to communication and celebrations. J1, the recognition of River City High School students receiving top honors at Skills USA Regional Leadership and Skill Conference. Stan Moisich, Principal, River City High School.
On the mic. At the bottom of the mic.
How are we doing now?
You're doing
good.
well.
All right, very good, thanks.
You're doing really well.
Okay. So I have Renee Collins up here, our CTE director, because this is also her celebration. I brought some wonderful students and some wonderful teachers here tonight. And I want you to know that this is just another great achievement for our career technical education programs. And last year we had 3 award winners, and that has grown to 7 this year, as new programs have taken fold, and now they're entering the competition and doing really a great job as well. So up first, I'd like to introduce to you someone you already are very familiar with, Miss Sadiqa Yusufi, who has been our oldest pathway, the Electronics Academy.
Most experienced.
Good evening. I just want to acknowledge my students, or our students, I should say. I always say my because they belong to me. So our gold honor goes to Caleb Pasquale. The silver honor for Skills USA Electronics Technology goes to Nahifa Syed. And the bronze honor goes to Karina Olenichenko. Thank you very much.
Miss, did you want us to have all of them? We have more. Oh, you want to wait till all of them? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we have more. So this is a very new program to us, but I'd like to introduce Asha Johnny Warrior, and she has been our computer programming teacher, and she's going to come up here and introduce some students as well.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for recognizing our students. Jessica Chan is our gold medalist. Lauren Della Rosa is our silver medalist.
I'll shake your hand.
Kelly Zhang is our bronze medalist.
And our Project Lead the Way engineering teacher, one of our Project Lead the Way engineering teachers, Miss Judy Tan.
Sorry, I'm short. Hi, everyone. We have the bronze medal for Devon Head for introductory to drafting.
Okay, and I think we're going to take a photo opportunity, right, with our superintendent, board, and wonderful students and teachers from our pathways.
All right, everyone move together. All right, on three, look straight ahead of me. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we will move on to item J2, school report, Bright Career and College Training, Renee Collins, Principal.
I would like to invite our staff and students, students and members, if they want to come up and join me.
Is that better? Yes, okay. So, good evening, President Alcala, members of the board, cabinet, and individuals joining us this evening. I am here with our staff and students from Bright Career and College Training to give you an update on the campus and to provide some highlights of our career and technical education programs, or we call them CTE programs. As you can see on the slide, I wrote Bright Career and College Training, an extension of River City High School. We are additional classrooms for River City High School. We share the same school code with River City High School. So all of our students really belong to River City High School, and they come over to us for half of their school day to receive training in college and career readiness type courses that might be core academic courses or CTE programs. Okay. The 3 CTE programs that we have that we're going to be speaking about tonight are our residential and commercial construction program, our agricultural science program, and our food and hospitality program, which we often call culinary arts. We have an additional 7 career and technical education programs that are at the main River City High School campus, but for the sake of tonight's presentation, we'll be focusing on the 3 that are at Bright. Okay. I borrowed this slide from our LCAP plan, but also from River City High School's presentation in the fall, because I want to show how we have really overlapped our services, and we are an extension campus, really trying to draw that connection between our 2 sites. So I'm going to briefly walk through how our CTE and core programming at Bright are tied to the district's LCAP plan. We touch all of the 5 LCAP goals, and students graduate from us college and career ready. We know that students who complete CTE programs are more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to go to college, and are more likely to graduate with higher salaries than their peers who do not participate in CTE programs. So I am really here to advocate on the behalf of career and technical education programs in the district. Goal 1, 21st century skills. I'm going to not focus so much on what I wrote because you can all read that. But the pictures that are really standing out there, the first one is on the left is a picture of our FFA officers demonstrating their collaboration and communication and citizenship skills that they receive through their agricultural science and FFA leadership programs. The middle picture there is a picture of some training, some industry certificated training in our residential and commercial construction program. This happens to be a hazmat training class, but our students have access to a number of different industry recognized certificates as they're going through our construction BITA training. And then the final picture is a picture of our food and hospitality students with their ServSafe certifications. These are their food handler certificate. The students get those certificates in their very first year of the program, and then they're able to take those, take that certificate and try and get jobs in any food or hospitality establishment, even while they're still in high school. So we're really connecting them to the careers early on. I'm trying to think, let's see. The FFA program and the residential and commercial construction program currently are two-year programs, growing to 4 years as well. And the food and hospitality program is, we've got 2 years currently running. Next year we'll grow to 3 years of programming, and then we'll be able to expand from there. So we just opened the site, as you know, in the fall of 2015, so we are still building. We have 3 classrooms on site, and we have our construction classroom as well. So really 4 classrooms. So we are about as full as we can be at this point until the second phase of our construction occurs. Okay. Educational opportunities. We are proud to say that our CTE pathways and our pre-apprenticeship program, which is our residential and commercial construction program, are aligned to high-demand, high-wage, or high-skilled regional industry sectors. In fact, agriculture, leisure and hospitality, and manufacturing and construction are all in high demand in Yolo County. In an EDD report that was published in June of 2016. So I'm proud to say that the programs that we're offering within our district are absolutely aligned to the in-demand needs of our region. Grants such as Perkins, the CTE Incentive Grant, and the California Career Pathways Trust have afforded the CTE department to update all of our programs to industry standard equipment and technology. We are one-on-one with our computers at Bright, which we're real excited about. And students are able to participate in multiple modes of learning, including industry guest speakers, field trips, mentoring, and internships that we'll talk a little bit more about, that are able to bring to life and relevancy some of the standards that they're learning in all of their classes, including their core classes. Goal 3, high-quality teaching and learning. I'm also proud to say that 100% of our CTE instructors have industry experience in their sector pathway. In fact, they would not be able to get a designated subject CTE credential if they did not have that industry experience. Last summer, we made a point of having all of our CTE teachers participate in 16 hours of externship experience with employers to make sure that they were as up-to-date and current with the industry as possible, because some of them have been teachers in the classroom for a while, and we just wanted to make sure that they still had that connection to current industry. We also do that through our advisories. I'm very proud to say we also, for the last 2 years, have had 30-hour CTE boot camps at the end of every year. The very first year, we redid all of our course outlines and aligned them with the CTE curriculum standards, as well as embedded the Common Core standards, so we know that all of our course outlines are up to date. This last year, we really focused on the externships for teachers. Some of the pictures that you see are highlighting the leadership curriculum that our students are part of. So our FFA program, that's the agricultural science, FCCLA, that is the approved Career Technical Student Organization for our food and hospitality program, and Skills USA. You saw some of the highlights and students from those programs here tonight, but a lot of our students from engineering to theater to computer science are involved with Skills USA. So all of our programs that are not FFA or FCCLA are Skills USA. And then the last bullet refers to the 10-year plans and linking learning to a plan, a student plan. And that is referring to our Building Foundations for Success that students get in 9th grade. And they're able to work with their teachers and explore careers. And then we try to build those linkages and review those plans yearly so that we can know that students are pursuing paths that are of interest to them and are of need in our economy. School climate, this is just kind of a fun picture we had. I can't remember which day this was, but it was a fun picture. And again, I think one of the things that makes us stand out as a school is the small school learning environment. Students are only with us for half of a day, but a lot of them like that break to go away to a smaller school environment. And then they also like to return to the big main campus that has, you know, all of the busyness of a 2,000 plus student campus. So let me see what else. I also wanted to highlight that our programs do a lot of integrated activities. They support one another. In the fall, we had a history class on campus. This spring, we have math. And our math teacher is here tonight. I'm so proud that she is. But they really look for ways to integrate what they're teaching in their core programs and integrate those standards and work with the teachers, work with the CTE teachers to make sure that they can really bring relevancy to the curriculum that they're learning. And our construction has worked a lot with our agricultural science program to improve the chicken coops, some of the sheds that are on campus, the garden boxes. And then recently our construction and arts, media, and entertainment and culinary programs worked together to prepare for the theater productions that have happened at Bright. So we had what was the Murder at the Pie auction, and then the Little House of Horrors is coming up. So I hope everybody can join us for that. Community engagement is a really, really key component of who we are at Bright and who we are as a career and college campus and department. We have a district board-approved CT advisory board. We have a pathway advisory committee for every single one of our pathways, and they meet at least twice a year. We have worked very hard with our local partners to get paid internships with local employers, working a lot with Future Ready's Chris Warden, but also working with a lot of the employers, working with our district departments to be able to make sure that our students have internships available to them in the summer. And very, very soon you'll be able to, well, I think even now you can go to the new Bright website that's on the that's available through our schools and on the district's front page, and you can learn more about what's going on at Bright. So before I pass this off to the students who are going to share with you some of their experiences at Bright, I just want to share a little bit about where we're going and about Bright Phase 2, because we do get some questions about that. I have just been participating for about the last year with architects to design the final 2 wings at Bright, Career and College Training. And we've just completed that process, and our plans are now with Division of State Architects, hopefully getting approved. And then this last fall, I also went through the process of applying for the CTE Facility Programs Grant, which allows us to apply for up to $1.5 million in modernization funding, which would supplement the bonding for the bond for the modernization. And so we have just recently heard that we made it through that first phase for the application, and it's now with the state for the second part of the application. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that goes positively as well. We built the highlighted area, the building E up there that's highlighted in red, is where potentially our biomedical and patient care pathway wing will be. There are 2 labs in there and a demonstration room. And we're also going to be building out Building F. And also there's one additional area that's going to be addressed in the Bright Phase 2. And then we're just continuing to work on having a greenhouse lab and aquaponics, and to be able to really build out our culinary arts and farm to fork pathway, making sure that students are introduced to that full food cycle with both the cooking and preparing and delivering, but also the growing and the harvesting and the composting and all that comes along with that. So real proud of where we've come in 2.5 years, but looking forward to where we're going as well. Very quickly, here's some data. So you'll notice that the culinary has had 433 students enrolled since 2015, August 2015. And that is with, right now we're offering 8 sections this year. Our teacher, Cheryl Sutton, is doing 2 prep buyouts, so she's teaching 8 sections of culinary. And she has mostly first and second year students. So next year we'll be adding the 3rd year. Ag Science is unique in that is a California Partnership Academy. The state of California approached us about having an Ag Academy at Bright. We did not have to go and seek that funding. That potentially, once there are 90 students enrolled at the sophomore, junior, and senior level, that could potentially bring in as much as $80,000 per year. And it's one of the longest running programs that the state has that has been continually funded. And our construction program is growing again as well. It has probably been there the longest, but it has been run as more of an ROP model program, and now we have changed to a 4-year program that we call BITA, or the Building Industry Technology Academy. And so all 4 years of high school students will be able to enroll in that program at this point. And right now we've got year 1 well established, and we're working on year 2, and then we have the curriculum for years 3 and 4. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. If you were still listening, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to pass this off to my vice principal, Carrie Korowitz, and she's going to introduce our student speakers and our teachers, and let them talk for a few moments about their experiences in the program.
Good evening. First, I'd like to introduce our wonderful teachers that without them, we wouldn't be where we're at Bright. We have our culinary teacher, Cheryl Sutton. We have our construction teacher, Jason Billington. And our ag science teacher, Jennifer McAllister. And one thing I just want to say about our teachers is they go above and beyond. They're there, even when I leave sometimes, they're still there. They're there in the morning before I even get there at 7:30. I'm just amazed by the dedication of our teachers at Bright. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to hear from students now, because that's the best part of it, right? First, we're going to hear from Rebecca Fierros, and she's going to talk about her culinary experience.
Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Fierros and I'm currently a junior at River City High School and I am attending at Bright and I am taking my second class of culinary, but yeah, done 3 classes this year. So this is finally my last year, but I really hope to actually go on forward, like not even just like, what do you mean? Like stay just like and leave, but just like continue. Like Miss Eden was telling me, like maybe I can get like college degree and then come back with her and work with her to actually teach students how to like cook and how to like sanitize really good things and give it to people. I really like cooking and decorating, so I really like culinary a lot. So yeah. And
Can you tell them how you're employed?
Oh yeah. Okay, so with the culinary, I also done many events, but I also got an internship to Burbank and the cafeteria, and I also got a job at Setter's Club that I'm working right now. So I really like my job. I love my managers who I work with. I love my teacher, so thank you.
Good job, Rebecca. Next, we have Melina Cavett. We'll be speaking about our FFA program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melina Cavett, and I am a current sophomore this year at River City High School. I am also the proud president of this year's West Sacramento FFA chapter. FFA has always had a big impact on me. I've been a part of it since 7th grade. It has given me a lot of opportunities that I never thought I'd be able to be a part of. For example, an internship that I did this past summer, Growing Green internship, I got to work with Professor Louis Yang, and I got to collect data on monarch butterflies and their natural food, the milkweed. My wonderful ag advisor, Mrs. Jennifer McAllister, helped put in a good word for me and my older sister, and we both got to work together. She got paid hourly. I got a stipend. It was honestly a very good experience. The leadership skills that FFA has taught me has helped me in a lot of ways. I always have to give 110%, introduce myself, not be intimidated, try to, so like giving a firm handshake, keeping my head held high, always giving it 110%. FFA has helped me with being more happy with myself, helping figure out what I want to do in the future. In the future, I want to be a marine biologist, stay in the ag program, probably go to Hawaii University, somewhere a little bit further. But it has always helped me be myself and get out there, out of my comfort zone. And this is definitely out of my comfort zone, talking in front of people. But that's the good thing about FFA, is it gives you good leadership skills that you can use in the future. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, we have Sean Shivers, who's going to talk about our construction program.
I'd just like to start off by saying hello to the board. I'm Sean Shivers. I'm a River City senior, along with Mike Biowadowski. And as you can tell, we're here for culinary. Nah. We're in the construction class. It's like she said, it's BITA. It's called Building Industry Technology Academy. I wanted to be in it since freshman year, but I didn't get into it. I was lucky enough to get into it this year, and I like it a lot because it teaches you a lot. So far, we learned framing. We've done, like she said, we helped the culinary out with their chicken coops and their sheds. And then still, we have some, we're going to shed building competition. And then, so it also helps us out with certifications, like we get OSHA certification and I believe CPR. And another one, it's power tools, we get another one. And the best thing about it is after this, after we graduate, I get to come back and see Jason again. Because they have an adult class, so once I'm done here, I'll just come back and finish all the classes and get more certifications and hopefully get an apprenticeship.
All right.
Did you want to share anything? No? All right, all right. All right, that concludes our report for Bright Career and College Training. Do you have any questions for us?
Anyone? Comments?
Yeah, I have my. Okay, go ahead. So just quick question, just wondering what your plans are for increasing the number of internships over time.
Increasing the number of internships?
Because the data that you showed is, I mean, it's
It's
single
starting out
digits.
small, right?
It's starting out small.
It's starting out small. Well, I think we're really, we're working on systems. We're working on building systems. So we have an existing MOU with LaunchPath and the Federation of California Community Colleges to be able to support the LaunchPath website and to provide some liability support. So we're getting a lot of that stuff in place. Students have been students create a profile on LaunchPath, and then that's where they also connect with their employers. So part of it is finding the employers that want to host high school age students who, who are really in the career exploration stage. And so we're really getting out there and just developing relationships with our advisory members, developing relationships with employers. Last year, we were fortunate to be able to work with the Chamber of Commerce to work on the externships for our teachers. So I'm really hoping that some of the relationships that have been created through some of these activities are going to help us build those relationships that we need to be able to have more students in internships. Our goal is this year to have the number of internships doubled. And see where we go from there. So that's the plan.
These are all sophomores.
Okay.
And so as they have juniors and seniors, they're going to have more exposure to the community events and stuff, and so it's going to happen. It's just as sophomores, we don't have as many internships right now, but as juniors and seniors, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've already told them.
Yeah, no. I think we're all very excited about kind of the career pathways and how that's going to kind of unfold and evolve with Washington Unified. We've made huge investments in Brighton, and so wanting to see that. And so the other thing is, I recall when I during election time, a lot of people were talking about badging and wondering how that's coming along and what that looks like and the digital badging that I know like Chicago has all of that, but what are we doing with kind of digital badging and
so we're working towards that. We're working towards it. We have been, I went with Chris Warden and Ian Winbrock, thank you. Sorry, Ian. to an LRNG conference this last year so that I could learn more about the badge.
Sorry, acronym.
I looked for a longer term, and I don't know that one exists. I think it's just LRNG. And they have digital badging, and they give you the tools to know how to develop your own badges based on competencies and standards that you have. And so last year, as our students went through culinary internships with our food services department and IT internships with our IT department and internships with our MOT department and others that were outside of the school district, we really asked those employers to really try and identify what those skills were that students were learning during their internships. And so we're working with Chris Warden from Future Ready to try to pull together some badges that represent the skills that students are learning in those hard skill content areas. And then on the other side, we're looking for curriculum and, we have curriculum, but we're looking to determine how to best badge and evaluate that a rubric type tool that would allow us to measure soft skills and measure students' readiness to go out into an internship based on soft skills instruction that they might receive in the classroom or in an after-school activity. So we're working on it.
No, appreciate it. I had the opportunity to, for Principal Day, be with Denise Seals from the
absolutely.
Chamber, and she just loves everything that we're doing in terms of college and career pathways and their partnership. And I know badging was a big thing for them. So.
Yeah, I was part of those conversations with badging for a while, and my thought kept being, just to throw it out there, is who's going to use it, I think, is our biggest tool as we spend the time thinking about it, because we want your time to be as valuable as possible. So who's going to use it? And if our colleges are using it, and if our employers are using it, then great, let's do it. And if they're not, then is that the most important place for your energy? I support whatever decision you make on that, but it's an important conversation to have, so thank you. And I have to say, I did buy some of your eggs for our council member at Principal for a day too. And what a beautiful event that we were able to go to Bright and to have our community leaders eat such fabulous food and be served by kids. It was a really fabulous event, and it's amazing to hear what's happened in 2.5 years. So thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you for all the work that you do. And it's just really incredible the growth that you have made in this amount of time. And so I know it's because of your passion and all that you do. So thank you for that.
Okay, Principal Collins, I have just a quick comment. I'm really happy that you have this 10-year plan. And I love that the students want to come back into this community. I think that's so important. That's one of the reasons that we do want to have these internships, because we want you to come back into this community, find jobs available, and your networking has been incredible. Volunteerism that our students do out there. I just received a call from, it was our Syrian Lebanese community, where they have an annual festival every year. And what's really fantastic is the way our students go out there, they put their best foot forward, and everyone notices your professionalism, and it makes us very proud of all of you. It's also wonderful because you're working with other individuals, cultures sometimes that are different than yours, and it's great for you to gain this experience. You're going to be out there someday in the job market. And I can tell you, I worked with the California legislature at one time, and we had very smart young people who came in to want to do internships into our office. And one of the things that, they look great on paper, but sometimes one of the things that sort of was concern for us is they didn't have the social skills. And that's a very big and important part, of getting out there and getting a good job if you have good social skills. So that your teachers are putting this emphasis on this is really, it's incredible. You're receiving an education that makes you a very well-rounded person. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're very proud of all of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. So we will now move on to student and association reports. We have our student board member, Jada Leach, from, is she here? River City High School.
Oh.
Is she not here? Okay, so Jada's not here. We will
Thank
have the
you.
report at our next board meeting. Thank you. And what is this wonderful thing we've just received? Oh my gosh, from the Culinary Academy. Thank you. Okay. All right, very good. So we are now moving on to item K2, WTA report.
Good evening, members.
Good evening.
Assistant Superintendents, good evening. Superintendent Luna, good evening. Dawn is unable to be here, so we are doing this by kind of a quorum, I guess you could say, for tonight. You have the entire executive board from WTA in front of you. Should I say WSTA? Can I say that? Sure. Yeah, we are working at rebranding, so WSTA. We've got Doug Knapp, Jessica Pagan, Nakiba Gregory, Carmen Wright, and Julie Lamarin. This is almost your entire executive board. So I will first read a message on behalf of our president, Don Stauffer, who could not be here tonight. Excuse me. To the board. As you know, Monday was a trying experience for us at River City High School. I have to say, though, that everyone involved did their best. The students deserve special acknowledgement. They handled things very well and took the threat with the appropriate amount and level of seriousness. I also need to say that during the beginning of the lockdown, when we didn't know if there was an active situation I had the experience of looking out of my class full of students as they were cowering underneath their desks. That image has stayed with me, and I can tell you that I did not get into education for this, and I doubt any of you did either. Whatever we can do to make our schools safe, we need to do so now. Thank you. Message from Don Stauffer. I will now relinquish my speaking moment to the rest of the board members who are delivering the further messages.
I'm glad I get to raise this up. I never get to do that. I need to deliver a message from the board, something that we've been considering lately. In the spirit of maintaining a high level of student learning and serving our teachers 100%, the Executive Board has realized that our current WSTA President position is not able to successfully execute the role of WTA President and at the same time deliver the high-quality, rigorous instruction that both the WSTA Board and the district value and the students deserve. We would like the school board to consider, support, full release of the WTA President so that the President can serve the needs of our members in the current climate, and our students can have the teacher who can support them the whole time. And I'll just let you know that we have some talking points on this issue, and we realize that this is a paradigm shift here, and we understand it's going to take a second to kind of to come to terms with it. But I do want to mention that that this responsibility to represent teachers is a great one, just like a teacher's responsibility to represent students is. And when the president in a district this size has to be out somewhere 30% of the time, that is not tenable for our students. And it's not tenable for any teacher who wants to be the teacher that they can be.
Consecutive lessons should be taught by the teacher that was hired to do the class. That is what's best for the students. Members deserve to have their issues and concerns addressed in a timely manner. Teachers that feel that they're being valued, understood, and heard are more effective teachers. Having a full-time release will lower grievances and improve district and teacher relations. We want to be a destination district and attract teachers. We would be more visible and attractive to prospective teachers with a full-time released president. Districts with smaller districts that are smaller than us have a full-time release president, and even smaller districts have a half-time release. We would like to include this to be added for sunshine and for it to be a side item to add for negotiations.
At this time, thank you. Do you have any questions for us? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We will now move on to item K3, CSEA report. Is there anyone here? Okay, very good. All right. So we will now move on to public comment. At this time, members of the public may address the board on topics that are under the jurisdiction of the board and are not on the agenda, although the board, by law, may not take action at this meeting. The board may limit the total time for public input on any topic to 20 minutes unless it chooses to waive the item limit for a particular item. Individual speakers may be limited to 3 minutes to comment on any topic. Public comments consisting of individual charges, complaints, or derogatory remarks about any district employee are requested to be submitted in writing to the administration in accordance with the district's complaint procedure. We do recognize that for a lot of people, commenting before the board and the audience and the people watching at home on television is a nerve-wracking experience. So to try to make that as easy as possible, we do ask that there not be any applause or booing or catcalling or other demonstrations to maintain a civil discourse here in the chambers. The board respects the right of members of the public to speak to us regarding matters on the agenda and other matters within the jurisdiction of the board. However, it is important for members of the public to recognize that comments regarding students, other than the speaker's own children, made during a public board meeting may be legally actionable as a violation of student privacy. Both state and federal law prohibit the board and others from discussing confidential student information in open session. To this end, be advised that if you reference a student's name other than your own student, you will be out of order, and your comments may not be protected by the privileges that protect public speech. You could be found liable for such comments in legal proceedings. Furthermore, it is important for the public to understand that negative or derogatory comments made against district employees or others, even those made in a public board meeting, may be actionable civil defamation. As such, the board reminds the public that the district has existing board policy that allows the public to lodge a complaint against a district employee. This policy provides a comprehensive procedure for reviewing and responding to public complaints. This process provides a more thorough opportunity to be heard than is allowed under the open meeting law that governs this meeting. And I believe we have, thank you, we have Scott Rafferty.
Thank you. As the board members are aware, I have sent a petition that the district comply with the California Voting Rights Act. And this is designed to create districts which will enable each of you to represent an area of the community and enable that area to have their own representative. It's a particularly opportune time to do it because there are two, if they choose to run for re-election, strong candidates who have districts that could come up this year as opposed to 3 next year. And that's consistent with the purpose, which is to create a seat at the table for minority communities that have not had a geographic representative on the board. It's a long-term proposition. It's not about getting rid of anybody. So this provides a particularly good time to transition this year. Unfortunately, there's a hard deadline of next Friday to do a piece of paperwork called the SBE waiver, which is necessary to avoid putting this on the ballot, which is of great expense and inconvenience and doesn't really serve anyone. The legislature's dispensed with that requirement for cities and all kinds of districts, charter cities, general law cities, and I spoke to the SBE today. And they really couldn't explain what the purpose of having it for school districts was, but it is a piece of paperwork that needs to be done in the next 8 days. But subject to that, there's plenty of time to have robust public input, and it's, you know, the geography of the district is very manageable for this type of arrangement. I think it will lead to a stronger board in a number of ways, a board that is more closely connected to its constituents. It's going to make it easier for all of you and other parents and constituents to run for the board. It reduces the campaign costs, but it also reduces the city's election costs roughly by half. You'll get a dividend of 60% of those costs because 60% of the people won't be voting this fall if you move to this in this cycle. I think it's something that would make the district stronger and would engage the community more fully in the work of the district and help with the achievement gaps that exist. And it would also create the kind of support that you want to have when you go to the community to for revenue measures, if and when that's appropriate. It's a long-term proposition, and I think it's something that is really, truly, in the case of this district, in everyone's interest to make happen. So I hope we can work on considering and achieving that in the weeks to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Colin Malik.
Good evening again. I first of all, didn't plan on speaking, but they needed me to say that part, and I felt it was definitely important. We all felt it was important to have a representative who was there at River City on Monday deliver that message. So I'm going to kind of reiterate something that I've already said really briefly. Excuse me. Is just how wonderful and how professional all the teachers, the staff, the administration, the secretaries, how well the students were. I can't reiterate that enough. I come from a military family. I come from a military background. The level of professionalism I saw made me glow. It was a rough evening later on, but you know, in the moment, the intensity and the professionalism was beyond reproach. And I just want to make sure that that's delivered and conveyed. The students were calm, the students were engaged, they were listening, they were following everything that we needed to do. We have gaps, we know this. We are working actively. I am on the safety committee myself. I'm working closely with the principal and other teachers and staff, and we are improving and looking at this. And I look forward to what we can create and generate out of this. And as horrible as an experience it was, I noticed the tone was completely different this whole week. Teachers were looking out for each other. Teachers were saying hello and checking in to each other and checking in with students. And as horrible of a situation it is, it really binded people together and brought people together in a cohesive way. There's a great takeaway from that. So that was the first thing I talked about that evening when I tried to debrief it, was the silver lining in all of this is that there was a really strong showing and strength and unity in the teachers, the staff, the parents, the students, and everybody involved with Monday's activity. So thank you.
Akiba Gregory.
Hello. I am very excited to announce that we have 2 students from Southport that are going to be showing at the Crocker Art Museum. Liam Perry and Robbie Uno, 5th graders, will be showing their linoleum with watercolors that are going to be at the Crocker. Their reception is this Sunday, Sunday the 18th, I'm sorry, Sunday the 18th from 1 to 3 o'clock. Last year, Jackie and Sarah, thank you for coming. It was very nice of you to come. But you are all welcome to come to their reception. It's going to be wonderful. Fortunately, I'm going to be in Chicago at an NEA conference, but I have 2 teachers, Ms. Cornell and Mr. Ramirez, that are going to be presenting the awards for me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, and now we move to board and superintendent comments. Trustee Sarah Kirby-Gonzalez.
Okay, thank you. I do not have any committee updates. We have not had any meetings, so nothing to report there. I would like to thank staff for the work that they did for Principal for a Day. It brought in our community leaders to see our schools beyond walking in a classroom and reading a book, which is nice. Sometimes they think that they've moved mountains doing that, but really they don't get a good sense of the school when that's all we do. And so this is such a valuable opportunity, and I have to really thank all of our community partners who came into our schools and who gave up their time, because they're of course very busy. And it was just a great event, and every single school participates in that. And hearing the conversations later and the takeaways that people had about the important work that is happening at every site and with the principals, it was really powerful. And those are our biggest advocates, is everyone in the community coming out and seeing what we do. And it was very authentic. And so we just need to get our messages out more. And I really appreciate that, the work that was done to do that. So thank you to all of our staff that has done that, and of course for everybody for all the work that you do, because it makes it easy to bring people in and see the good stuff when it's just happening every day. I want to thank you for the comments regarding the lockdown, and we're at a place where people are they're tense. It's hard to see your students who are afraid and nervous, and so it means a lot to know that our kids are in a place where their teachers and the staff members are keeping them calm and safe. And that's all that I heard. I heard from the families and children about how they felt in their classrooms and that they felt calm because of their teachers. And so I want to thank you for that. And while those lockdowns are happening, I think the important comments for our community is that there is a lot of work happening by our police departments, by our administrators. They are working incredibly hard to make sure that all the students are safe. And their number one priority is the kids and to make sure. And it's hard for us as adults and for parents who are used to news, quick updates. And we're used to looking at something live footage. And so it's hard when you don't get communicated with right away. And I think we need to talk with our community and really share with our parents why they are not going to get a play-by-play of what's going on, because they are not the priority right then. That's important. That's very important, but that's not going to keep kids safe calling them up. We need to, do the work on the ground. So I think it's our job to really help relay those messages to families, to put them at ease so they understand what's going on. And so we talked about this, and unfortunately we talk about this a lot, but we talked about this in the past too, is training our parents on lockdown, because kids are really trained. They know what to do. Our staff knows what to do, but parents don't always know what to do. And when we heard about moments that were chaotic, many of those didn't have any children in them. It was the parents, and rightly so, they're scared and nervous. But we need to help educate them on what to do and what our staff is doing in the process and how hard everybody is working to ensure that their kids, who are our kids, are okay. So thank you for sharing those messages. Thank you for the work of continuing the safety committees and all the conversations that have been happening. So no updates for me, just that.
Thank you. Trustee Jackie Wong?
Yeah, I echo that. The only update I have from CSBA is that President Alcala and I will be at the Capitol on Monday lobbying for full and fair funding for LCFF, because we need more money to do the good things for our kids. And so hopefully that will be well received. Principal Day, I agree, was phenomenal. But kind of what's been heavy on my mind and everybody's mind is kind of what happened this week, right? And I don't want to cry. Why do I always cry at these things? And I'm being videotaped. So, but I agree with Colin that the silver lining is, for good or for bad, is that everybody kind of came together. And it was just amazing to be there the next day and have everybody, administration, district, West Sac PD, teachers, students, just be able to be together, and the vibe felt different, right? And it is because of the teachers and the environment that you all have created, and really just I also agree, and I think that one of the administrators had brought up that it's important to also know what the evacuation plans are. I know that we had talked about that with the floods, but I just realized that it's actually not in the parent manual, right? Like we talked about it several times, and where do we pick up the kids even when the floods were happening? We don't have that, and the parents freak out, and that we all freak out a little bit. So if we had a place to kind of have that information, that'd be wonderful. But thank you guys for being the rock that our students need. All of you in here who were part of that conversation. Because for me, and I think I spoke about this last time, is that I trust you all with my kids every day. And when people ask me, we talked about this, do you feel safe sending your kids to school? Yes, I do. Because I know you guys. I know you guys would protect them beyond all measure. And so I appreciate that from all of you, everybody. So thank you for that. On that note, I'm going to be updating this a little bit later, but Trustee Alcala and I wanted to bring forth a resolution on safety that we wanted to work on, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So.
Okay, thank you. Well, tonight I want to praise Governor Jerry Brown for defending the Constitution of the United States and defending California. I'm not alone. California's congressional delegation and both California's senators support Governor Jerry Brown, and so do I. Yesterday, I attended a demonstration supporting our governor, and objecting to Sessions' lawsuit against California's sanctuary state law. After thorough debate and analysis on what is the best use of California's resources to protect our families, security, and economy, our legislature wisely passed a sanctuary state law that requires our law enforcement officers to focus our dollars and resources on protecting Californians and not on doing the federal government's work for them. As Governor Jerry Brown stated, California's sanctuary state law does not block or interfere with federal law enforcement. California has the right to enact laws that follow the long-cherished American Constitution's principle that states may determine how to use their own resources. Sessions does not understand this simple fact. He seems to believe that the federal government may commandeer state resources. This is not the law, it never has been, and it is not the law today. California will not support an extreme agenda that is destroying families and making our communities less safe. When they take fathers and leave orphaned U.S. children and widows to be the sole support of their families, it is school districts and teachers that are left with the Herculean task of dealing with problems created by a broken and dysfunctional immigration system, only made worse by ignorant, extremist deportation policies. Which brings me to my second point. I believe that the racial and ethnic divisions in our country are harming our nation. I also believe this hatred is the result of ignorance. The answer to ignorance is education. I want to compliment Assemblyman Jose Medina for proposing AB 2727, which will mandate ethnic studies as a high school graduation requirement. Our own district is moving in this direction voluntarily, and I am pleased that we are in line with the rest of the state. I will be testifying on AB 2727, which comes up for hearing later this month. And I also want to thank our fabulous teachers and our district staff for keeping our children safe. Thank you. So we are now moving on to our consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Linda, I keep forgetting you. I'm so sorry. I did this last time too.
Thank you, President Alcala, Board of Trustees, employees, and guests. It's my honor to be here tonight to give a brief update of what's been going on in the past couple of weeks. Just before I begin my update in terms of the evacuation pickups, we are working on that specifically because after this past week's event, we realized that we need to relook at that after the experience on Monday. But also, just for clarification, anytime there would be a flood situation, the fire department will be determining our evacuation routes, so we really can't give that information. It would be at that moment for the fire department. So we'll talk a little bit about some evacuation. So at our last board meeting, I shared a few slides about school safety, about what our schools have been working on, what our administration has been reviewing in terms of safety plans, and it started to ramp up in the nation about incidents that are happening on school campuses. One of the first slides that I showed talked about safety drills, and I wanted to assure the board that we do this regularly. And I have to say, in reflecting on Monday, that the first thing, positive thing that was shown was that everybody knows how to do these drills. It's evident that the drills are working in terms of we know what to do. The second thing is about our communication system, and thank you so much, Trustee Kirby Gonzalez, for your comments on that, because it's really difficult in terms of the communication, because our students have cell phones. And my students, my own children would text me during the day, and my text back would be, "Why are you texting me during school?" But at the same time, that's the initial response, is a student's going to text their parent and say, "Hey, we're in a lockdown." And I know our parents appreciate that. So what I want to reiterate tonight and value add to Trustee Kirby Gonzalez's comments is that we have a communication system in place for our parents. And what we are doing while the parents are waiting for us to communicate, we are actually working directly on the physical safety of the children and the physical safety of all staff while parents are waiting for our communication. The parent communication is the first thought of, okay, how do we get this out? What's the accurate information? Because as moment by moment goes, things are changing. And by the time a communication is sent, perhaps something has already changed. So we're very sensitive and cognizant to that. So the other part that was talked about are school safety plans, and we know that in the month of March, particularly all school districts in California bring these to the board. And I want you to know that at the next board meeting, we will be bringing each school's safety plan, but we're going to be adding another layer based on what we've learned this past week. And the next layer will be about the evacuation, reunification points on every single campus. Documents like that will help us even do better. The next slide that I showed was about the partnership that we have with our law enforcement, and I got to tell you, we all need to thank the West Sacramento Police Department. They all came on campus just to support us. And it was really nice to be able to see that law enforcement is asking us, hey, where do you need me? I'll just go stand there. Where would you like me to be? And so there's many lenses that our law enforcement takes, and the most appreciative on Monday was the support and the presence. We also address our social emotional support in terms of the moment and this entire week. So the plan that has been in place since the incident on Monday is that Principal Moisich has had parent coffees for 3 mornings this week. Tomorrow morning will be his 3rd one, just to be available for our parents at River City High School. If they want to come and talk or just share some experiences, share some concerns, share suggestions. The staff has had additional voluntary meetings just to debrief. We've had support staff, our psychologists, we've had social workers increased on the campus as needed. So these are the different layers that are all addressed at that moment throughout the entire day. And I concur with what Mr. Malik said. I think the one thing that touched me the most at the end of the day, walking off the campus at 5:30, was seeing the staff come together. It was amazing. It was amazing. The focus was solely on students, solely. The focus was solely on the care for each other. And that's what community is all about. And I did go back on Tuesday morning, and Mr. Malik is right. There was a different era about the campus. So I would be remiss if I did not mention the fearless leader on that campus, and that's Principal Moisich, who carried a very large burden on his shoulder because all he could see were the 2,200 faces and every single staff member's face. Those were on his shoulders. And so I want to thank Principal Moisich for his leadership on that day. The continued work we're going to do, because we learned a lot. So in additional training, the administration had a 3-hour safety meeting last night, really combing over our plans, combing over the maps of our schools, combing over where do we need additional support and help. West Sacramento Police Department is also going to be providing us more training directly to us, school by school, as we do an assessment of what kind of training is needed. We have different kinds of lockdowns. The second thing on there about parent education on procedures is going to be very important because we want our parents to know what does a lockdown mean? And what does it mean in terms of them being able to come on campus, because a lockdown means they cannot come on campus. a lockdown and secure where all our students and staff are safe inside the building, we can't allow parents on the campus because that creates a safety concern. So all of those things we did learn, and we're going to get better at. Thirdly, increasing partnerships outside of the school district. So I also want to give a shout out to our transportation department, because when we called for an early pickup and an early evacuation, the whole bus fleet came out. The whole bus fleet. And what we learned is we need more partners because we need more buses. And so that's going to now create opportunities for us to reach out into our community and either other communities around West Sacramento to be able to be a part of our safety plans. And lastly, the practice-specific scenarios, we're going to do better at that and actually do more scenario drills, not just basic standard drills. We're going to do scenarios where we're going to have our law enforcement and our fire departments actually creating a scenario and then us implementing it as if it were real. I think that will help us as well. So there's lots of things as we move along in terms of how we're going to continue this, because what's happening in the nation, what's happening in our communities around us, is we're having to get better at this. We're having to get deeper into the area of campus safety. And we've just taken it to another height and another level. So I want to assure our parents, but at the same time, our staff are true champs. They're true champs. And I just want to and say that in the reflection of this past week. So in addressing next week on March 14th, we know that across the nation, this coming Wednesday is what they're calling a national school walkout, and I wish they wouldn't call it a walkout because most schools are not walking out. Because again, we're addressing student safety. Our students are most safe on our campuses. So as a superintendent, I'll say the words, yes, we want our students on campus and we expect our students to be in school on Wednesday. However, we are providing opportunities for our students to honor this day, be a part of this day in their own school community. Here are some of the activities that are going to happen next Wednesday. Schools are going to be doing some of those listed activities right there. There are a few schools that are talking about a balloon release in honor of the 17 victims from Parkland, Florida, of releasing 17 balloons, one for each student lost or one each person lost in that tragedy each minute. There's lots of gatherings that are going to be happening, so if you happen to be on the campus, it's not that it's chaos, it's that we're all allowing our students and our staff to be out in the open on the campus. There are more activities. The younger students, because it's a scary message when you're talking to kindergarten students, it's a different message. And there may be some younger students or younger classrooms that it may not be appropriate for them to take part in this day. And we're leaving that to the discretion of our teachers and our administration. But there are simple things like 17 acts of kindness. I mean, that's just perfect for our kindergarten students. So there's lots of different activities, and there's some more. I thought that was really cool, planting a tree or a plant in the honor of Parkland, Florida, in our school garden. So there's a school that's going to be doing that. So be assured there are lots of activities that are going to be occurring where our students are able to participate in what is happening in our nation at this time. So I'd like to move on to some celebrations. The African American Youth Summit happened at River City High School. I do have some swag that was given to the board. So at the youth conference, they had some T-shirts that were made for every student and every adult that participated. So it says voter, and it has California in the back, so we want to make sure that our trustees receive this. I'll make sure I walk that to you. I want to bring our counselor, Frida Clark, from River City High School back to the board because we need to celebrate her. This African American Youth Leadership Conference doesn't happen without Mrs. Clark. And so she's pretty amazing, so we're going to celebrate her at a meeting that she's able to be at. Also want to remind everybody that this Saturday is our Cesar Chavez Youth Leadership Day. We have buses of students going to UC Davis. This is the Saturday where families and students can learn about how to get into college. There are lots of people there to help them get through the system and guide and counsel them on how to access all the services that are available to them. This is a huge event that is very, very packed full of people, so we're excited for our students to be able to go. Also wanted to let you know that under the LCAP Goal 5, I wanted the board to know we do follow up when comments are made or when things come to the board with concerns. We don't just let them kind of lie. We really do take them sincerely. And I wanted you to know that Mr. Gardens there, who had brought concerns about how do we bring after-school tutoring services to the mobile park homes on West Capitol. Well, here's what Riverbank put together, and that was our AARP tutoring services, where we have our retired adults come to read to our students and help them in the classroom. They're having conversations about building a partnership for after-school tutoring, specifically on West Cap there. So we're pretty excited about that. Wanted to let you know that Washington Middle College High School celebrated Arbor Day yesterday, and the good news is that they've increased their partnerships with CAL FIRE, Tree Davis, and Yolo County just through having this one tiny event, but they have gained so much more in this one celebration. We had mentioned Principal for a Day, so just a couple of people there. We welcomed Steve Binns, who's our Deputy Chief Fire Marshal for West Sacramento. We also welcomed our County Superintendent from the County Office of Education, Dr. Jesse Ortiz. We also welcomed Vernon Billy, who is the CEO of California School Boards Association, and it was really, really great to have him there. And I got to tell you that it was the best part of my day because, of course, it's Dr. Seuss's birthday, and that's Read Across America. So I just thought it would be appropriate for me to share what I read. It was a very short read, and I'm hogging up a lot of time, but I just think that it's really appropriate in light of this past week. The book I read to our third grade students at Westfield School was called It Takes a Village. So what does it take to change the world? Sometimes it takes a child to make a village. We all have a place in the village, a job to do, and a lot to learn. Kids don't come with instructions, but neither do grown-ups. Every child needs a champion, or two, or three, or more. And they also need the right tool to get the job done. Every family needs help sometimes. Kindness, caring, sharing. Playing matters too. And resting, because the world is in a hurry, but children are not. The village needs every one of us to help and every one of us to believe in each other. And children are born believers and citizens too. So let us build our village worthy of all children. It does take a village. We saw that on Monday at River City High School. Because it took the community, it took the staff, it took our students to do their part. Everybody has a part in our village. I'm very honored to be a part of the village of Washington Unified School District here in West Sacramento. And I just think that it was just appropriate to remind everybody that it takes all of us to raise a child. It takes all of us for our students to succeed. So that's my update this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent Luna. Fantastic, thank you. Okay, very good. Now we will move on to our consent agenda. With, I believe it was, could you remind me of those items again? N5, and I believe that's the only one. So may I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. And a second?
I suppose I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimously approved.
We'll switch it up the next time.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. We are now at item O, public hearing, and there is no public hearing. Move on to item P, informational discussion items. No items here, so we'll move into action items. Q, action items. Q1, adoption of resolution 1718-18 relative to the reduction or elimination of particular kinds of classified services. Michael Reed, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources. Oh, and Amber too.
Good evening, President Alcala and Board of Trustees, and the remaining few community members and staff. So after seeking community input and staff input, we are recommending to the board to ensure that our preschool program has the highest quality of services offered to our families and to ensure the best working conditions for our staff. We are requesting to do a change in our current program and move our current program at Alice Norman to several school sites: Stonegate, Westfield, Elkhorn Village, and Riverbank. This would allow our preschool students to be part of a larger school community, to attend school with many of their siblings, and to enjoy the benefits that a K-8 program offers all of our students.
All right, so we have two resolutions this evening, Q1 and Q2. So as a first step to redesign our district preschool programs, the attached resolution is recommended to reduce particular kinds of services of classified services for the district. The newly recommended preschool program configuration will require a lower level of classified staffing. So we're recommending first the adoption of Resolution 1718-18, which is a reduction of elimination of particular kinds of classified services.
Okay, are there any questions? No. Comments? Okay, very good. So we will ask for a motion. This is a roll call. This is going to require a roll call vote.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Okay, so it's a roll call vote. Trustee Kirby-Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Wong?
Aye.
And Trustee Alcala? Aye. Unanimously approved. Okay.
Item Q2 is to adopt, again, the recommendation is to adopt Resolution 1718-19. This is the reduction or elimination of particular kinds of services or of certificated services. The newly recommended preschool program configuration will require a lower level of certificated staffing. I also, before a vote is taken, want to make sure that the board is aware that there is a teacher on special assignment position listed on this resolution as well that's not related to the preschool program, but it is a certificated position. It is currently a vacant position that is not intended to be brought back next year.
Any questions? Very good. I need a motion.
I'll make
Whose
the
turn
motion.
is it?
Mine.
Okay, Trustee Kirby-Gonzalez, and
I'll second.
thank you. Seconded by Trustee Wong. Roll call vote. Trustee Kirby-Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Jackie Wong.
Aye.
And Trustee Norma Alcala. Aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to board governance. Sorry, R1.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this resolution.
I'm sorry, Sarah, forgive me. Adoption of Resolution 1718-20 and supporting of appropriation of $3 billion in 2018-19 from Proposition 51 School Facilities Funds. Thank you.
Great, thank you. This resolution, I saw this when I was at the suburban districts meeting, and they brought this up, and if approved, it will be joining with others and to be presented. This Proposition 51, as a reminder, is what the voters have approved, and it does not raise their taxes, but it has not yet been released. So districts have not yet seen that facility fund money that voters approved, and we are asking to see some of that money for our for our well-needed facility needs.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I need to read it, but I hope we all support it. I don't have it with me.
All right. So let's go.
Yeah, do you want to read it?
Not necessarily, but I could if you want me to.
Is it long? I would like, I think it would be great.
You would
for
like me to read it?
informational
Okay.
purposes.
If you would
Thank
like me to read it, then I will happily
Thank
read
you.
it.
It's actually not attached.
Oh.
Oh, we have it on there?
Nope.
Resolution.
We don't have it in the binder? Let me see if it's not in the binder. I'm sorry. Can we get a
Sorry, I
copy?
had a
Thank you, Ruth.
technology glitch with my. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Ruth.
Here we go. It's been a long day and I have no glasses, so we'll
Oh.
see how this goes.
Sure.
Okay, 5, so what is this, Article 6? Okay, whereas Article 6, Section 5 of the California Constitution finds public education as a state responsibility, and whereas Article 1, Section 28 of the California Constitution states that public schools shall be safe, secure, and peaceful, and whereas the voters of the state of California have, since 1982, consecutively approved statewide school construction and modernization bond measures to provide resources through programs contained in the lease purchase program and school facility program. Title I, Division I, Part 10, Chapters 12 and 12.5 of the Education Code. And whereas on November 8, 2016, voters of California passed Proposition 51 that authorized the state of California to sell $9 billion worth of statewide school facilities bonds, and whereas state school construction and modernization bond funds, as authorized by Proposition 51, are matched with funds provided by local communities through the passage of local bonds and developer fees, and whereas as of December 5th, 2017, there was more than $3.2 billion backlog in project applications filed by school districts seeking matching state bond funds, us included, and whereas many school districts that filed their school facility program grant fund applications back in 2013 are still waiting on state funding to pay for school construction projects. And whereas it has been more than 1 year since voters approved $7 billion for K-12 state school bonds in Proposition 51, and only approximately $600 million of K-12 Proposition 51 funds will be sold in 2017-2018. And whereas this current pace of school bond sales does not meet the $3.2 billion backlog of submitted applications by school districts across the state, and whereas an average of more than 90% of previous statewide school bond funds were committed within 4 years of the measure's passage, and whereas at the current pace of state school bond sales, it will be almost a decade before 90% of Proposition 51 K-12 funds will be committed, and whereas the school districts face rising construction costs, inflation, the longer the state delays bond sales to fund the submitted application backlog, resulting in fewer students having access to new and renovated classrooms from Proposition 51. And whereas the federal government is increasing interest rates, resulting in taxpayers having to pay higher interest costs for school bonds, the longer the state delays bond sales. And whereas Proposition 98 and the new local control funding formula are intended to improve educational achievement for all students, but do not provide dedicated facility funding. And whereas research demonstrates that quality school facilities have a positive impact on student academic performance, attendance, and teacher job satisfaction. And whereas the Coalition of Adequate School Housing proposes $3 billion in Proposition 51 bond sales in 2018-19 to meet most of the $3.2 billion application backlog as of December 2017, so that school districts receive the resources voters promised to adequately serve students, families, and their communities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Washington Unified School District and Board of Education calls on the state of California to process and portion $3 billion in application backlog by December 31st, 2018, and sell $3 billion in Proposition 51 state school bonds during 2018-2019 to honor the will of California voters. And I hope that we will adopt this evening. I think it's a convincing case.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and I think it was important for everyone to understand what we were approving, so.
Okay, happy to do so.
Yes, so we need then a motion.
I
Yes. Trustee Wong, and a second.
I will second.
Okay, and a second. Now we will do roll call vote. Okay, Trustee Sarah Kirby-Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Jackie Wong.
Aye.
Trustee Norma Alcala. Aye. We all vote aye. There are no noes, and it passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so now we are at.
R2 was removed.
Oh, thank you.
Future board
Yes. R2 was removed. It's tabled until our next meeting, which was the Board Governance Handbook for Washington Unified School District. So we are now at future board agenda items. S1, board governance session and board self-evaluation.
And I'd like to add, for future board agenda items I mentioned at the beginning, a safety resolution that Trustee Cruz wasn't able to talk about, but I also mentioned it, and so we wanted to work together on presenting something to the board, starting with the CSBA model. And then going from there. And the other thing that I was hoping to add as a discussion item is that there are a lot of parents in the community who are wondering what our drug and alcohol prevention program is across the district, and so wondering whether or not there could be some sort of update about what that looks like in our district.
Okay, very good. Okay, excellent, thank you.
I have none, but on this International Day of a Woman, I would like to thank my fellow colleagues here and all of the women, the powerful women I see across this room, and thank you to the men in this room for supporting the women.
All due respect to the men. All due respect to the men.
You have plenty of days.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I also, yeah, since we're adding, because it's so early, so should we just talk for the next hour? That the Restorative Justice Youth Court I wanted to volunteer officially for the Restorative Youth Justice Court that was going to be the advisories meeting on the 21st, and would love for others to join, but just that's something near and dear to my heart, and so I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you. Yeah.
And I just want to recognize Assistant Superintendent Amber Lee, because I just simply said Amber last time. So I just wanted to, yeah. All right, so we are now at adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jackie, do you really want to second it?
Do I really want to second it? Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
All right, very good. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Adjourned.